It all started with me Googling how to make $1 billion without leaving your bed. And not in a metaphorical, I want to work from home kind of way. I meant it literally. I was under the covers, clutching a half-eaten granola bar like it was a financial advisor and whispering to the universe, "Please let me go viral while horizontal." That's when I found an article called "Sleep Your Way to Success Financially," which sounded like the title of a really weird self-help book, or possibly a crime. But I was intrigued, because frankly, I've tried doing things the normal way, working hard, showing up on time, opening emails, and the only thing I ever got was mild carpal tunnel and a deep hatred for shared Google Docs. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Anyway, step 1 was mindset. Every rich person online kept saying that wealth starts in the mind, which felt ominous, like, is money a demon that haunts your frontal lobe? Or a parasite that feeds on self-confidence? Either way, I sat in front of the mirror, stared myself down, and said, "You are a money magnet." Then I immediately dropped my phone in the toilet. So, mixed results. I made a vision board, not the cutout magazines kind. I just dragged screenshots of Lamborghinis and infinity pools into a PowerPoint slide and named the file My Manifestation Mood. I left it open on my desktop for inspiration. It mostly inspired procrastination. Then I went on Fiverr to hire a life coach. I couldn't afford the premium ones, so I got a guy named Dave from Ohio who just texted me, "Rise and grind," every morning, and then vanished. I think he was a bot. Or my dad using a VPN, my next brilliant idea, inventing a product. You know, the thing every billionaire does in the origin story montage. I tried to create a smart pillow that gives you compliments while you sleep. I called it the Affirm Nap. The prototype was just a speaker duct-taped to a pillow, whispering things like, "You are enough," and "Jeff Bezos who?" It caught fire. Literally, it caught fire. So I pivoted. I watched an 8-hour YouTube course on crypto while eating instant noodles and slowly losing my will to exist. All I learned was that blockchain is basically a group project where no one trusts each other, but everyone still gets an A. I bought a coin called Sleepy Inu because the logo looked relaxed. The price dropped 97% overnight, which, coincidentally, is the exact percentage of my financial stability that was based on vibes. I spiraled. I downloaded 6 productivity apps that all yelled at me for not meditating at 6 a.m. One of them sent push notifications like, "You're wasting your potential." I uninstalled it out of spite. Another app locked my screen until I wrote 500 words in a journal. I panicked and typed, "Help me, I am a prisoner of my own ambition," over and over. It unlocked. Meanwhile, TikTok kept feeding me videos of 23-year-olds saying things like, "Just buy a fourplex, house hack it, and use the equity to scale." I live in a rented shoebox with a haunted radiator and 2 roommates who use the sink as a second fridge. Where do I get this mystical equity? Is it sold at Target? I had to regroup, so I made a spreadsheet, a serious one, color-coded tabs and everything. The top row said Phase 1, Passive Income, and underneath it I wrote, Start Etsy store? Sell digital planner? License out my personality? I gave up halfway through and just typed, Become mysterious enough to inspire fan theories. There was a point, somewhere between failed side hustles and watching a guy sell digital real estate on the moon, where I just sat in silence and asked myself, what are we doing here? Not like here in the economic sense, I mean existentially. Like, what if being rich isn't the goal? What if it's just the most socially acceptable coping mechanism? Maybe money is just emotional armor. Like, we think if we have enough of it, we won't feel scared anymore. Scared of not being enough, or being seen as lazy, or ending up irrelevant in a world that claps for hustle and side-eyes rest. And that realization hit me hard, but not hard enough to stop me from trying to flip vintage VHS tapes for profit the next day. So yeah, I tried the VHS side hustle. I bought a box of old tapes at a garage sale for $20, thinking I'd found hidden gold. The seller winked at me and said, "These are collector's items." Turns out, collector just meant someone's aunt who hasn't thrown anything away since 1994. I listed them all online, only to learn that nobody wants 12 copies of Home Alone. 2, unless Macaulay Culkin personally hand-signs each one with his tears. At this point, I genuinely considered opening an OnlyFans, but for feet photos. My feet, though, look like they've walked across Lego fields in the 7th circle of hell. So instead, I started an anonymous, wholesome advice TikTok account. It flopped. Turns out people don't want to hear, "You're doing great," from someone who clearly hasn't washed their hair in 4 days. That's when the mangoes came into my life. No, really. One afternoon I bought this insanely perfect mango from a roadside stall. I sat on my steps, eating it straight from the peel like a raccoon discovering joy for the first time. And I just felt rich. Not Jeff Bezos buys a yacht rich. More like I don't hate myself today rich. I started romanticizing my broke life. I lit candles like they were luxury items. I drank coffee slowly like it was made from unicorn beans. I put on ambient rain sounds and stared at my ceiling like a philosopher. That's when I realized, maybe I don't want to be a billionaire. Maybe I just want to feel like I have time. Time to sit, time to rest, time to not constantly optimize myself into a human LinkedIn post. But of course, my brain being what it is, I immediately thought, what if I monetize this feeling? So I wrote a fake ebook called Laziness as a Lifestyle: How to Nurture Your Inner Couch Gnome, and listed it on Gumroad. It sold 2 copies, both to my cousin, who thought it was a joke. He was right. By now, my friends were sending me job listings. One of them was for a wellness retreat copywriter. The salary was great, but the job description included the phrase, "must be able to channel the voice of lavender." I didn't apply, but I did spend 30 minutes trying to figure out what lavender sounds like. My best guess? Like a tired British grandmother. Eventually, I started making peace with the fact that maybe, just maybe, I wouldn't be a billionaire. Maybe I wouldn't even be a millionaire. But you know what I could be? Slightly less financially unhinged, which felt like a big win. So I set some reasonable goals. Pay my rent on time without sacrificing dental hygiene. Make enough money to buy fancy oat milk without doing mental math. Find joy in things that don't require a subscription. And honestly, things started to feel lighter. I got a freelance gig writing descriptions for dog shampoo bottles. I took naps without guilt. I started saying no to projects that made me feel like a content-making husk. I even made a new vision board. But this time, it was just a picture of my bed, a mango, and a sticky note that said, "You're not lazy, you're just tired of pretending." And then something weird happened. A production crew reached out. They had found my TikTok and wanted to rent my apartment as a cozy minimalist set for an influencer's daily routine video. They paid me $800 to film someone pretending to live my fake lifestyle. While I sat in the kitchen, quietly eating cereal out of a mug, they staged a shot of a girl sipping tea by my window looking serene and wealthy. I wasn't even mad. I was impressed. Because somehow I had achieved the dream. I made money while lying down. Was I a billionaire? Number not even close. But I did feel like I won the weirdest game of capitalism bingo ever played. So here's my final takeaway. Maybe the real billionaire mindset isn't about yachts or passive income or LinkedIn bioflexes. Maybe it's just giving yourself permission to fail publicly, nap often, and occasionally rent out your comforter as a manifestation blanket. Comment your worst money mistake. I want to feel less alone. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.